Here we are on the Witchy Weather Report. How are we feeling, everybody? It's time for the Witchy Weather Report. Hey, Mary Jane, good to see you. As you can tell, I am running behind. Let me put my ears on. That always makes everything a little better. I'm having a sleepy day because I was up late gigging last night, but now here I am ready to read cards for you with the Wizard's Tarot. This is a new deck. It's not dissimilar to the Everyday Witch Tarot, except it's more wizardy themed. It's still like realistic. It's still very adorable. I'm trying to connect with it a little bit, so that is the deck we are doing today. Let's see if we've got anyone tuned in on Facebook. Not yet. All right, let me share this a couple places. Mary Jane's already dropped a cat in the chat. I love it. Usually, I have been doing... Let me adjust my ears. Obviously very important. Usually I have been doing theme music, but today I am not because I am... what can I say? I'm a little half-assed today. Can I say that on here? It's my show. I'm a little half-assed today. I'm reading to you today from the Wizard's Tarot by Barbara Moore, illustrated by Mika Jansons. I hope I'm saying that right. M-I-E-K-E. Does anyone know how to pronounce? I think it's a Swedish name. Mika Jansons. Mika? Miki? Mieki? I don't think it's Mieki. Anyway, I do really like this tarot deck. As you can see, there's a spiffy dragon with a crystal on the back of it, so excellent. If you are like me on the East Coast, you are preparing for Hurricane, is it Henry or is it Henri? I see that it's spelled with an I. I've only seen it. I haven't heard it on a weather report yet. If you're like me, you're preparing for the hurricane. I am charging up my solar-powered charger. It will take charge from the sun, but it will also take electricity, and that's faster. So I'm doing that right now. And there's not much else to do, you know? Like, you make sure you have food in the fridge, you make sure your devices are charged, and you just cross your fingers, right? If you're not in the area, not worrying about it, we got a big storm coming here along the East Coast, but a lot of people are going to be affected by this one. Haiku but Make It Tarot. Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in. I see you dropping a cat in there. All right. Let's see. I do have a couple folks tuned in on the Space Books. Good morning, Judith. How are we feeling today? All right. As I share this one or two places, because I just do find that helps, and I like to remind people because I know the Facebook notifications go out super late, even if you're following. I would like everyone to put in the comments how they're feeling today. We have a full moon coming up tomorrow, so I would love to hear what you are grateful for and what's gone on these last 2 weeks. Do you feel that anything has begun to come to fruition for you? Positive or negative? I'm rooting for positive, but I want it. This is like not a toxic positivity cast here. I want honesty. So let me know how you're doing. Let me know if there's something you're grateful for, if there's something coming to fruition in your life, or that you would like to come to fruition in your life. Because we got a full moon and a hurricane coming tomorrow. Like, wow, big witchy weather on the horizon. So I just want to take a moment to actually talk about weather. Full moons always magnify a storm because the moon affects the tides, right? So when we have a storm coinciding with a full moon, it increases things like storm surges, things like flooding. I used to experience this intimately because I grew up in a house directly across the street from a creek. And a brackish creek, so it was affected by the tides. It was like connected to the Long Island Sound. And a full moon always meant we had an unusually high tide, and a full moon plus a storm basically meant we were flooding. That was basically what we were used to. Thank you, my dearest darling. I love you deeply. Alex, aka the best husband in the world, has brought me coffee. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. I am now more caffeinated than I was a moment ago. So anyway, full moon plus storm equals big hunkin' energy, big hunkin' tidal energy. Already the moons are cyclic, so I wonder what it would be like for us to think of this as a very powerful and chaotic full moon that we have coming up, because we need more chaos in our lives, right? But on the other hand, sometimes chaotic change is what is needed. Obviously, I think a lot of us might be sick of chaotic change at this point. It has been like the last 18 months have been a doozy. I'm not going to lie. But sometimes it's needed. Sometimes chaotic change is the energy that kicks us in the butt and gets us to quit a toxic job, for example. I have a friend who recently quit a toxic job after years and years of putting up with really horrible treatment. And I'm so proud of her. And she did it without knowing what was coming next, but with a safety net. She lives with someone who is also, employed and all of that. But, sometimes that kind of chaotic kick in the pants is what we need to be like, I don't know what's next, but I know it needs to not be this. I know things need to be shaken up. So that is the potential of chaotic energy. And I feel like it's not a bad thing. Nobody likes change. We get very uncomfortable with change. And especially no one likes sudden change. It's not a good time. But sometimes it really is what we need. Lisa, hello. Thank you for tuning in. How are you? Lisa says, not particularly looking forward to this chaotic weekend. Lisa, I read your post the other day about you and Link and your diner adventure, and it just made me snort laughing. And I'm very sorry because I don't want to laugh at your expense, but it was very hilarious. Lisa's a dear old friend who used to live with me, so she knows about my chaotic energy all too well. All right, so I'm about to pull a card for us. We have, long story short, we have a big full moon coming up tomorrow, as well as a hurricane. Apparently, this is the first hurricane to ever directly hit us here. We're directly in the path Long Island in 30 years. So Sandy, by the time it got to us, was not a hurricane anymore. A couple of things made landfall before reaching us, and we had some big storms. But this is the first time an actual hurricane will make landfall kind of on us. So this could be a big deal, apparently. That's why all of our phones have been blowing up here on the East Coast. And if you're not local on the East Coast, I'm sorry. I usually try to be very conscious that this is, a global medium. But I do think that the energy of a huge storm can affect kind of everyone a little bit. All right. I've done my sharing. I've got some humans in the comments. Let's see what people are saying. Judith says, grateful for you, Roy Kelly, and the wonderful community you've created. Thank you. I'm going to throw that back at you. I'm grateful for all of you for being this wonderful community. Because community takes everyone. That's the nature of it. Lisa's not particularly looking forward to this chaotic weekend. I feel you. Judith says, major cray-cray on the home front. I'm just going to leave that comment up there. Lisa says, now I can cross off a child gave me their tooth in the movie theater off the bucket list. I kind of feel like that's, I don't know. It's just such a power move. It's like, here's my tooth, Mom. And I'm sorry for laughing, but it's a little hilarious. All right, let's see. What do we have here? I see people saying, so I think you were trying to answer my question. Is it Henry or Henri? Ondine, but I still don't know. I want to call it Henri because it has the I at the end, so that makes me think Henri, and it makes me, I'm picturing, someone should do this on the Weather Channel, I'm picturing the radar report of the hurricane with a little beret and a mustache, and then it's Henri. Even if this is not the correct pronunciation, I'm going with it because it delights me. Okay. Ondine says it's been an interesting week. Haiku but Makataro says, grateful to have food, shelter, and security. Oh, Ondine also says it was a full moon when Hurricane Sandy hit. I did not realize that. Thank you for adding that. And Sandy was interesting because where I was in Brooklyn at the time, and we just got a bad storm. But I know here on Long Island, where I was not living at the time, people lost power for a long time. It was really an ordeal. Job search is gaining momentum. Had some really good first round interviews. Ooh, very exciting. 12:30 rescheduled tooth implant. Crazy weekend. Oh my gosh. Okay. Everyone, please put some light around Mary Jane for her tooth implant. Please send some good vibe for Mary Jane's dental work to go well because, I mean, oh my gosh, nobody likes dental work. Please send some good energy for that to go well. I am sending some energy. All right, I'm going to pull our card for the day. Then I'm going to get started pulling cards for everyone. If you have not been to the Witchy Weather Report before, if you would like me to pull a card for you, the secret code is to drop a cat emoji in the chat or write the word meow. The reason we do that is because before I just had people ask me to pull a card, and then we got a lot of spammers. We got a lot of like spam bots who were like, I will tell your future, DM me. And I'm like, excuse you, bot. That's my job. So, drop a cat or drop the word meow in the chat, and that will do. Speaking of cats, I got to meet my future cat child this week. She's very adorable. Her name is going to be Kaylee. From Firefly, if anyone watched that show, I'm a big fan. And so is my husband. We wanted to pick a fiction-inspired name that we both really liked. So her name's going to be Kaylee. She has a mischievous, playful spirit like Kaylee does. And she's the most adorable cat, and I'm sorry I'm not sharing pictures publicly. I did share some on my Discord, but I'm not sharing pictures publicly until I have her in my hands. She's still with Cat Mom for the next few weeks. Because I'm superstitious. I don't know. I'm sorry. All I can tell you is Kaylee's adorable, and you will be spammed with photos of Kaylee when she gets here. Judith Wyman says teeth energy. Judith, I forgot, like, I had just asked everyone for energy for Mary Jane's dental work, and I just see you saying teeth energy, and I'm like, oh gosh, is this some kind of astrological phenomenon I don't know about and don't want to know about? No, you're just sending good energy to Mary Jane and her teeth. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let me pull this card for you. This is our card collectively for the week ahead. It's so good to be here. Thank you, everyone, for doing this with me every week. I just love this. I'm reading from the Wizard's Tarot today by Barbara Moore. Barbara Moore is the creator, and Miki Janssens is the illustrator. All these difficult names to pronounce. Henri the Hurricane. Henri, come on. I want everyone to, like, let's do this. Let's visualize this hurricane wearing a beret and a cute little, like, French mustache, like, with a little glass of, like, wine in his hands. Come on, Henri the Hurricane. I'm calling it. I'm branding it. Michelle, you can absolutely ask a question. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll just let everyone know, if this is your first time tuning in, there's a secret code to get me to pull a card for you, and the secret code is you put a cat emoji in the chat, or write the word meow if you can't access emojis for some reason. And feel free to tack a question onto that. Feel free to ask a particular question. I would love to answer it for you. As best I can, of course. All right, this card is for everyone. This is our card for the week. It is the High Priestess. Let's talk about big intuitive energy. The High Priestess. I see your question, Michelle. You're in the queue, so you have like maybe 4 or 5 people ahead of you, but I promise I will get to you because I'm reading cards until noon today. It's what, 11:15 now, my time. So I'm reading cards for the next 45 minutes. You're good. Okay, everybody, here is our card for the week. It is the High Priestess, which I just, let me talk about how cute this deck is for starters. Look at this big witchy energy with these just like magical energy things around her. Come on. And she's like standing in some columns, and she's got like a long spiffy dress, and she's looking, like even her look on her face is like, I know things. So let's talk about this energy for all of us. It's a really good week for us to tune into our intuitions, for us to make decisions with our gut, rather than purely with our rational minds. It doesn't mean that we have to be irrational. It doesn't mean we shouldn't listen to reason. It does mean that it's a good time to consider our subconscious's influence, our higher selves influence, our intuition. Maybe you believe all 3 of those are the same thing. That's cool. You know, whatever works for you, whatever feels a little more esoteric than simply the straightforward, like A plus B equals C. It's time to tune in. It's time to maybe meditate our way or dream our way Look for signs if you're the kind of person who looks for signs. And, I'm never going to say put all your eggs in that basket. I'm not going to say to you, oh, you have a big decision to make about your career. Like, let the number of crows in the sky tell you what to do. Please make the decision using your whole self, all of your wisdom. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good time to be especially tuned into your wisdom, and it's a good time for your wisdom to get loud. We have a full moon hurricane, Henri the Hurricane, coming up. Let that fuel your intuition. Tomorrow might be a great time to do a tarot reading for yourself, to do some meditation and some visualization. Anything you do to tune yourself into your intuition. To do bibliomancy, which is one of my favorite things. You open a book, you point to a word without looking. That is, that's your fortune. I love bibliomancy. Super fun. Sometime I will do a whole bibliomancy episode of the Witchy Weather Report. I think that would be neat. Ah, yes, caffeine, caffeine. Caffeine, 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 caffeine. I just had to get that out there. Okay, let me start pulling cards for everybody on this beautiful, intuitive hurricane full moon week. Let's see who I got here. I have Mary Jane, Ondine, Haiku But Make It Tarot on Instagram. I'm going to pull you guys first. By the way, Mary Jane says, my teeth thank you, Judith. All right. So let me pull a card for you at this time, Mary Jane. Aw. Judith says, I had a kitten named Henri Le Chat Le Fuzzy Putty Cat. That's delightful. Judith says, I was singing that too, same key. Yeah, that's called the It's Early Morning on Saturday, and I don't know what is happening with my vocal range key. Speaking of which, Judith you mentioned to me that you had an experience watching one of my music live streams where the sound would bounce around, like literally change key. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. I'm obviously not doing anything. And I had it happen to me as a viewer. I was watching my friend Ayla Faye's live stream and watched it happen. It's like I guess speed of the audio is changing, so it changes the key, like changing the speed on a record player. Really wild. I had never experienced this as a viewer. Like, thank you, Facebook. It only seems to happen on Facebook. Absolutely crazy. If you haven't experienced this, don't worry about it, I guess. Okay, pulling a card for you, Ondine. Here is your card. Queen of Swords. I know I just literally gave us all a lecture about listening to our intuition, but did I just say pulling a card for you, Ondine? I meant to pull Mary Jane, but maybe this is for you, Ondine. Maybe that was my subconscious doing that. Ondine, here you go. Queen of Swords. This is you, Mary Jane. You'll be next. What did I say? I have no idea what I said. I just feel this is your card, Ondine. Queen of Swords. I never do that fortune tellery stuff. I'm sorry. I feel this is your card. Okay. Queen of Swords. It is time for you to listen and own your truth and speak your truth with as much clarity as you are able. I'm going to say, because this is the Queen of Swords, it's not the Page of Swords. This shouldn't be that terrifying to you, but because you're the Queen of Swords and you have a lot of wisdom, you have a deep, nuanced understanding of the people around you. Your audience probably already have an idea how your truth will be received, and that might lead to you feeling a tendency to hedge or feeling like, oh, it's not worth it. I'm just going to keep my counsel. Your truth is very important now, and it is important to speak it. It's important to speak it as clearly as possible, whatever you can do to make it frank and honest without a lot of emotion. The Queen of Swords, unlike perhaps the Queen of Cups, who might spill her truth in a moment of emotional clarity, which is sometimes very needed, right? The Queen of Swords is going to think through and just clearly speak the truth. And it's important for you to listen as well. It's important for you to have an honesty policy this week. That's what I want to suggest to you. And be committed to sharing, and be committed to sharing with precision. to exactly laying out things as you see them and things as you understand them. Here's what happened. Here's what's happening now. Here's what I'm hearing from you. Here's what's coming out of my mouth. Here's what the situation looks like. Be committed to just describing things as you understand them, with as little emotion attached to it as you can, because your perspective is very needed at this time. It will help things move along. And doing so in an unemotional way will also help, like, your other concerns around your message not being received well, people twisting your words, those kind of things. It being a charged topic, so having the potential to create discord. Communicating in as calm and even a tone as you can, and trying not to put on it, right? Trying not to say, you did this and it ruined everything, but instead, like, well, here's what happened and here's the result, like trying to pull that personalized judgment out of it and just allow it to be like, here's the truth as I see it. And I encourage you to listen as well. Sometimes when we speak the truth in this very calm way, when we just calmly say, it's time to go through the facts of the situation, we hear something we need to hear. And it's funny because it's coming out of our mouths, so ostensibly we knew it, but often what happens is, as we take the time to frame it in a way that is expressible to other people, as we take the time to frame it from the morass of thoughts in our brain and into something coherent that comes out of our mouth, what happens is we learn something from that process, and we learn, oh, you know what? Here's how it really is. And sometimes it's just validation, right? Sometimes it's like, you know what, it really is like this, and it really is time to do something about this. And sometimes it's even more particular than that. Sometimes it's like, here's how it really is, and it's actually really clear what needs to change, and I've been resisting it. But now that I see it laid out in this way, I can't resist it anymore. I have to be honest with myself. So I really encourage you to own your truth at this time. And speak it, like I said, as evenly and calmly as possible, as often as possible, and listen while you speak it. Okay. Oh, Michelle says, oh my God, I just tried the bibliomancy. Please tell us about it. If you feel comfortable telling us about it, I'm very curious. I would love to hear your results. Anna's cruising into the chat with a big old meow. Sorry I'm late. All right, if you just tuned in, let me tell you, our card for the week is the High Priestess. It's a good time to listen to your intuition. To listen to your intuition. You have an opportunity for it to be louder and clearer at this time. Maybe it has a little something to do with the full moon and Henri the Hurricane. Henri with his little black lit cigarette and a glass of wine and a beret. I'm going to draw Henri the Hurricane later on, and it's going to be great. It's going to be entertaining to no one but me. Anyway, we have big energy in the air right now. Things may be loud and clear for you to hear, should you choose to harness that energy through something like meditation or opening yourself. Please, if you're the kind of person who kind of opens yourself to these types of energies, or wants to tune in or naturally can't help it, please do the proper protection, like beforehand. Ask anything you believe in to protect you. Visualize yourself a bubble of protection around you that only safe energies can get into, before you open yourself up for the floodgates, because there might be floodgates this weekend, psychic and literal. Everyone, please be safe. Anyway, a big intuition energy. It's a good time to listen to your intuition. Tune into it as much as you feel is comfortable and safe for you. Okay, I'm pulling a card for you, Mary Jane. After that, I have Haiku but Make It Tarot. Great account. Please follow Haiku but Make It Tarot. I just love seeing your stuff pop up on my timeline. It's always really interesting, too. It's like a really nice perspective on the cards, as well as, just a nice artsy thing to do. Okay, Mary Jane, this card is really for you. And you have gotten the Ace of Cups. Let's talk about emotional renewal. I especially want to talk about the lotus flower that this cup is holding, suggesting that it's not just an emotional renewal, a feelingsy renewal, but a spiritual renewal for you, a renewal of hope, a renewal of possibility, and a renewal possibly that takes us out of ourselves a little bit. I really associate the lotus flower with the idea of meditation. There is a singer and yoga teacher that I have taken classes from in the past. If you've ever gone to the NERFA conference, her name is Caroline Cotter, I think, and she often runs yoga classes at NERFA. And she has this wonderful song that it's her song, so please look her up, Caroline Cotter, on Spotify and all that. She has this really nice song that she often sings at the end during Savasana when you're meditating, and the lyrics are, "They want me to be like a lotus flower. Close my eyes, cross my legs, and forget my name." That's not my song. It's Caroline Cotter's song. Go look it up. She's great. Anyway, it's such a nice sentiment, and it's the only time I've ever felt soothed by the idea of being nameless, of releasing your identity. And so what I propose to you is that the Ace of Cups allows you to release some of your identity in a healthy way. Maybe it helps you release things that you thought had to be a part of you, but have been struggles for you, and maybe they don't have to be struggles anymore. Maybe you're tuned into the idea that you can evolve. Maybe you're tuned into the idea that just your concept of self, of who you are, is very limited and rigid by like our societal ideas, by cultural upbringing, by all these different things, right? And maybe you can release some of that in a way that's very healthy and allows you to feel more expansive, allows you to feel more at peace and at one with things. That's what's available to you this week. So I advise you to tune into it, and I advise you to make it easy for you to receive this type of energy. And ways to make it easy include like just really good self-care, like please get enough sleep, please take good care of yourself. If you have things that are stressful on the horizon, which I know you do, please give yourself the care you need and the preparation you need to minimize the stress. Instead of going like, oh, well, whatever, it's just going to be stressful, I'll just deal with it and let it pile on, which I have a tendency to do sometimes. Instead, do everything you can to kind of treat yourself like a loving parent, like take yourself by the hand through these things and be like, how can we make this easy for ourselves? And pump yourself up if you need it, give yourself pep talks and make sure you're giving yourself downtime to recoup, because that's going to be how you access this emotional renewal that will allow that energy to come through. Good healing energy can't come through if you're so busy that you can't feel it. That might have been for me. I've been very busy lately. It's for you too, though. It's for everyone who needs that information. Hey, Savannah. So good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Wow, Mary Jane says, yeah, the mother, first thing to be released. Really interesting. Well, sending good vibes at you. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for Haiku, but make it tarot. After that, I know I have some people in the chat to pull a card for. If you're in the chat and you haven't yet dropped a cat, please feel free. I would love to read for you. I'm reading until noon. We got about half an hour left. For as many people as I can get to in that time. So feel free to drop a cat emoji in the chat if you'd like me to pull a card. Feel free to write meow. And if you have a question, please feel free to throw a question in there. Okay. Pulling a card for you, Haiku, but make it tarot. 3 of Pentacles. Okay, today is a really good day, or this week perhaps, is a really good day for an outside opinion. You might be at a point where you are feeling a little stuck in terms of how to move forward with something. You might be struggling with a decision, or it might be more like you're at a point of review, a point where you kind of are looking at the information. How has this been going? Whatever it is, often it's a business project, or it could be a house project, like something you've been trying to create and build in your life in a certain direction. We're taking in the information of what has gone on in the last little bit, and having a moment of review. I'm having one of those moments of review right now because my birthday is right around the corner. Next week, there is no witchy weather report. I'm taking the day off for my birthday, just so y'all know. But anyway, if you're having a moment of review right now, you may feel that it's difficult to be objective. You might find, I know for me, the killer is always that I tend to be my own worst critic. I look at numbers and results of my actions and things like that. And if they're not exactly what I envisioned, I tend to really beat myself up, and I tend to want to double down and work harder, which usually translates to me banging my head against the wall, doing more of the thing that wasn't working, right? And sometimes what is needed is just a fresh external perspective to allow you to interpret the information in the way that it's really coming to you rather than through the lens of like your emotional attachment to the outcome. So I encourage you, if you can get a third party, if you can get a third party who like has some expertise in what you're doing, great. If not, someone whose opinion you value, someone who you trust, someone who you know can be the perspective that you can't bring to the table right now. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely have friends I turn to when I'm feeling like I can't be objective. That I'm like, hey, I need you to tell me how I should see this because here's how I feel about it and I might be going crazy, right? I have friends who I know will be honest with me, sorry about that, earnest with me and put me on the right track. And that may be really helpful for you at this time. Know that you are not alone. You don't have to do this all alone. You know, you have help. Hey, Kubat Mikataro says, yes, that really resonates. Thank you. Good. I'm really glad. Good luck. Oh, thank you. A couple of you guys are wishing me an early happy birthday. Thank you so much. Okay. If you tuned in recently, I know a couple people tuned in. I'll just let you know we have big full moon, a hurricane energy. I'll also let you know that I'm not sure if because I haven't seen a weather report on TV. I've only read it. I'm not sure if we're pronouncing this Hurricane Henry or Henri, but I am putting all my weight behind Henri the hurricane, wearing a beret and a little French mustache and holding like a cigarette or a glass of wine and being very like, ha ha, Henri the hurricane. This is my official viewpoint on Henri Hurricane 2021. Not to make light, but you know what? Like when you're facing something big and chaotic, sometimes a sense of humor can really aid you. So anyway, we have big kind of big chaotic energy coming at us this week. And in addition, our card of the week for everyone was the High Priestess, suggesting there's a lot of information available for our intuition to process. And suggesting that it may be very easy for us to tune into our intuition and may be desirable for us to access information that way rather than trying to do everything in the rational way. So I encourage you to do that in whatever way feels safe and comfortable for you. I am correct, Henri. Okay, this is it, man. I'm gonna we need this artist rendering. I just want you to do this because I think it's causing people a lot of stress, and this is a stress relief technique. Okay, every time you see that radar picture, I've been looking at it. There's a lot of red on that map. Every time you see that radar picture, I just want you to picture that little beret and a little French mustache, dead center. And I just want you to picture that hurricane saying something kind of smarmy and pretentious with a French accent. Henri the Hurricane. Do it. I promise it'll make you feel better. It makes me feel better. Okay. Who else am I pulling cards for? Let's see. Who do I have? I have Judith. I have Lisa. And I have Michelle. Judith, Lisa, Michelle, Anna, and Savannah. Did you drop a cat, Savannah? I don't think you did drop a cat. Savannah, let me know if you'd like me to pull a card for you. You know I'm always happy to. All right, so Judith, I'm pulling this card for you at this time. I'm reading today with the Wizard's Tarot created by Barbara Moore, illustrated by Miki Jansen, Mieke. If anyone knows how to pronounce that, let me know, because I'm going to keep saying Miki or something else. I might say something different next time. Hey, Brittany, thank you for tuning in. Good morning. Judith, here's your card. Your card is the Lovers, and this is not the first time you've gotten this card lately. All right, let's talk about the Lovers, which I know, don't you have a Lovers Devil combination? Isn't that your birth cards, Judith? Of course I have time for you, Savannah. I see Savannah and Brittany have also dropped cats in the chat. I love it. Okay. So Judith, you have the Lovers. Let's talk about commitment. How are you feeling about commitment right now? Are there things where it is actually time to make some kind of a more formal commitment in your life that perhaps you have been resisting? Perhaps you've been resisting out of a sense of everything I commit to goes wrong, or I'm trying to walk away from things right now and I'm just not in that commitment headspace, or, commitment makes it real. Right? When it's one thing to talk about a new idea, new plans, and be really excited about it and even put in work. But as soon as you formally make a commitment, that makes it real, right? Like, yes, I'm doing the thing. Yes, I'm whatever, formally connected to this person in some way. Yes, commitment is scary. I'm going to just ask you to do the shadow work that comes up for you around commitment, because I think you're headed towards it and I think it's good for you. And I think things are coming up that rather than suppress, you should address. You know what I mean? This is about a melding of energies. You can see this. I love this illustration here because we have like this green energy on one side and we have this like goldy energy on the other side. And it's really like, wow, what would these two powers like create together in confluence? You know, like what would it look like for them to synchronize and create something new and more powerful together, greater than the sum of its part. So I'm just gonna ask you to be like a little bit meditatey about it this week. Like, I don't mean meditate, do if you want to. I don't mean like have a meditation, but I mean have that meditative mindset where you're like, what's coming up for me around this? Be aware of the thoughts that are coming up and kind of observe them as they go by around this new commitment and your big feels about it. And just allow yourself to kind of move through it, you know? I think that it's healthier to be very aware of this kind of internal struggle rather than like bully it out of yourself, you know? All right. Lisa, I believe you are next. I don't think I saw a particular question from you. I think I just saw a meow. And then after that, we've got Michelle Peterson, then Anna, then Savannah, and then Brittany. Okay. Oh, nice. Brittany says, I think that's the nicest lovers I ever saw. Yeah, I really like this deck. And I haven't read with it a ton. It's a new deck. It's definitely like, it was a deck I bought on a whim for myself. It was I'm giving myself a treat by buying a new tarot deck. And I really like it and haven't read with it a whole lot. I think it's really neat. Okay. Lisa, here is your card. Lisa, Queen of Cups, which I actually have to say, like, I have never seen a card that resembles you so much. Not so much in the way this person looks, although it's not completely dissimilar, but the expression and the attitude. I just want to like hold this person's face right up for you, Queen of Cups. I just want you to look at that like, yeah, here I am. I'm pouring this water into the ocean already filled with my emotions. That expression, I just want to present that to you for you to consider, because I feel like you will feel the personal resonance. So I just want to make it, you already know this, and the universe is confirming and putting its stamp of approval on this, that you are deep in some emotional stuff right now. Like, you are not just deep, but like a little overwhelmed. Like, this person is literally sitting in a swamp of her own emotions. She's literally like, cool, remember how I did all of that work to create stability for myself and to create a life that made me feel really safe and comfortable? Well, here I am, and I am knee deep in water in the very place I thought I would be most comfortable. Cool, great. And I don't mean to say that in a super negative way. I mean that to say that as an earnest reflection of where you are and why you need to be gentle with yourself at this time. And how the only way out is through. And although it feels tempting, I think right now, to kind of put your emotions to the side, perhaps because they feel unmanageable, that you will notice her action is that she is pouring more water on the existing water all around her. And this is really a metaphor for you allowing your perspective, your highest self, like who you are as a person, to come out. Because yes, there is a lot of stress and anxiety happening. Like, there are just things like pushing your buttons, right? That's causing emotions. That's causing surface level emotions, and a fair amount of them, right? That's like the cortisol is like going. But what is needed is for you to connect with kind of your deepest self. You know, your big who am I? Your big who am I as a person? What is my purpose? What do I believe about my relationship to the people in my life and what I'm meant to do on this earth and what's important to me, my values. And to begin to These are good questions to ask yourself as you're going through everything, to just stop and ask a big, who am I? Who am I in this moment? What is important to me in this moment? What is meaningful to me in this moment? These questions that, in a way, take us outside ourselves, right? Because they almost make us interview ourselves, which can be helpful when we're feeling very overwhelmed. To almost allow it to be a conversation between two people, even though it's just you, to ask yourself these questions and allow yourselves to answer them without a lot of pressure, the way you might feel in a conversation with another person to be correct, to just allow yourselves to kind of sit with who you are, sit with what is happening, and allow your strength and your gifts and your purpose to come through, because they're really getting an opportunity to at this time. What's that phrase? A woman is like a tea bag. You don't know what she's made of until you put her in hot water. This is an opportunity for you to find out what you're made of, because you're sitting in water right now. You've had a lot of stuff on your plate, both just general life stuff that's stressful, but also like stuff that really, really is deeply hitting you right here, and it's a good time to ask yourself again and again, who am I? Who am I in this? Who am I? What am I bringing to this? And just allow that question to be a bit of a meditation and a mantra, because you bringing your own gifts to the situation is actually what will heal it for yourself and others. Okay, that was a big one. May Henri the Hurricane bring you blessings and brie. Blessings and brie. Okay, who am I reading for next? Let's see, I had Michelle. Okay, so Michelle had a question. Michelle's question is whoever took the dog someone I know? Is that okay? That's a very direct question. And the tarot, as you've been seeing, because the tarot is like very archetypal, I'm not sure if the tarot will give me a direct yes or no answer, but I'll do my best. And also, that sounds like you lost your dog, and I'm really sorry. And I hope you find your dog and get him back, or her. Everyone, please put some light around Michelle and Michelle's dog. Okay, here's the question. Is whoever took the dog someone I know? We have the Six of Pentacles here. I'm going to say that suggests possibly. Six of Pentacles is a card often associated with family and often associated with nostalgia and the past. You can see that there's also often a kind of parent-teacher or student-teacher relationship, I should say, in this card. People whom we have taught lessons to or been taught lessons by, or often it goes both ways, in any kind of meaningful relationship. So I don't think that's a big... not a very specific answer, but it also might suggest a solution, which is to ask other people around you for help and guidance. If you're, I don't know the exact nature of your situation. What happened with your dog? Oh, your friend's dog. Okay. But just a reminder, and it sounds like you're already stepping into this role a little to help your friend, that this doesn't have to be something that is gone through alone. Six of Pentacles really suggests emotional generosity, as well as practical generosity, the type of generosity that's like, let's look into this, let's do what we can, let's put up signs, let's do all the things that your friend may not be thinking of, because they might just be devastated and upset, So I'm sorry if that's not a very direct answer. The tarot doesn't tend to give super direct answers like that. And I'm always hesitant with it, and I certainly do it too. I'm the person who will pull a tarot card like, where did I put my friggin' keys? But that's not always what it's meant for, and I always have mixed results with that. But I do really I'm putting a lot of light around you and your friend and the dog, and I hope the dog is returned. Savannah, I really agree. Savannah says, tarot does good with how and what questions. Yes and no is more challenging. So what I'm going to do is I will pull a card for you with a how question, which is how is the best way to approach this. And here we go. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Really interesting. Seven of Pentacles comes after the Six of Pentacles. And it's about working towards a goal in a practical way and thinking it through. So I'm going to recommend that you and your friend put your heads together and maybe consider refocusing instead of, I understand a real impetus to be like, who did this? your focus might be, well, what are the next steps regardless, because we don't have all this information. What are the next steps to begin to get the dog back? Is it like a social media campaign with the dog's picture out, like, is it joining a bunch of neighborhood groups and doing that? Is it, filing a police report? What are the next practical steps? And just putting your heads together and crossing them off. And that's probably going to be the best thing to actually figure things out and get the dog back, and also might be the best thing emotionally to feel like, okay, I have some control over this situation. That's going to be my recommendation for you. Okay. Who else? Who's next? I think we have Anna. Then we have Savannah, and then we have Brittany. Did I leave anyone out? Okay, Anna had a question. Anna also had a very particular question. Anna says, I need to know not about me, but about Afghanistan, specifically Penn Farthington and his animal rescue staff. I'll be real honest, I don't know who Penn Farthington is, and I almost feel better about that because I'm not someone who gets real comfortable looking into other, those questions that are like, tell me about this guy, I'm not into voyeuristic stuff, but I can tell this question is coming from a place of concern. And, wanting to know if a person is okay. But I also urge you to take whatever is said here with a grain of salt. These are cards that are really helpful for reflection and our personal growth. And when we ask them about particular, real day-to-day topics that are still unfolding, if we get a scary card, it can really have an emotional effect on us. So I just want to remind you, whatever comes up in the cards today, this is not set in stone. This is just a snapshot of what's going on in this moment. All right, we have the Seven of Wands here. And you can see, like, power struggle is what comes to mind here. You can see that there's a lot of power, and there's this one person. I'm going to try and, zoom this in for you. You're on Facebook. There we go. You can see all these, kind of lit up wands of different colors, suggesting different, they're thrown by different people or whatever, and this person wearing a hood kind of facing them with a ball of fire coming out of their wands. So I'm going to suggest to you that what is likely happening is this person is experiencing struggle and is meeting the struggle with all of their skills. They are fully wrapped up in doing what they can to get through this. I'll also say, because it's the Seven of Wands, it's not like one of the big horrible doom cards. This is not the Tower. This is not the Ten of Swords. This is a card about struggle. And I honestly can't imagine being in Afghanistan right now and not experiencing power struggles, So I'm just going to say what you already know, which is that there are a lot of different elements competing for dominance right now in this situation, and that is affecting this person. Anna says it's in the news. I believe you. I have been listening to the news, but I have also been limiting my dose to NPR has a daily podcast. It's here's what you need to know today, and that's pretty much what I've been listening to. Partly because I'm busy, and partly because it can be a lot sometimes. So partly a mental health move, I will say. So that is that's what the cards have to say about that. You know more about the story than me, so please feel free to, consider that in the context that you have, because I do not. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, Savannah says, love the teabag analogy. I've never heard that. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that in a meme or something like that. Still very sad about the situation. Absolutely. Everything that's going on right now. That's a little bit why I've been limiting my own news intake, is that I'm watching things happen and watching things unravel that for the first time, maybe, as a 37-year-old, where when I saw events play out as an 18-year-old, I didn't have a lot of context, you know what I mean? And now I have the context of everything that I've watched happen kind of on the global stage in the last, 37 years, I guess. And it is a really sad situation, and it's really complex and feels really big. I don't have anything nice to say after that. I don't have any, like, I'm not doing the toxic positivity thing of like, well, I hope everything's okay. I just, like, it is a hard situation. There really are hard things in the world. And I'm just going to put out the intention that we can all be on the side of being helpers in whatever form that takes, All right. So after Anna, we have Savannah and we have Brittany. Do I have any particular? It doesn't look like I have questions from either of you guys. Looks like I just had little cat emojis. So, Savannah, this card is for you. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Witchy Weather Report. Oh, if you enjoy the Witchy Weather Report, please feel free to throw some love in the virtual tip jar. You can see it on my little banner thing beneath me. It's Venmo at Rory Kelly. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And if you're on, what's this other thing I'm on? If you're on Instagram, you can see it. You can see it in the title of this broadcast. Always appreciated, never expected. Thank you for joining and tuning in with me. I will also remind everyone I have a brand new podcast that just got released this week. I think you'll really like it. It's with me and Savannah's in the chat, Susanna from Anti-Fragile Tarot, although Savannah was in the chat for the live recording of it because Savannah's a patron. And it's about witchy community, and it's about using belief as a tool. And it was like a little bit of a rambling conversation for sure, but I felt like we really touched on some good stuff. I think you'll really enjoy it. So search Sassafras Cast wherever you listen to podcasts, or go to the link in my bio if you're on Instagram right now. You'll be able to choose your own adventure and view it as a video on YouTube or listen wherever you enjoy listening. Okay, Savannah, this card is for you. Queen of Swords. We are back with the Queen of Swords. Savannah, it is time for you to listen to and honor your truth. And I don't know why I want to say it to you in this exact way, but it feels important. I want you to consider the axiom, beauty is truth and truth beauty, and that your truth is part of what makes you beautiful. And I want to say I have a lot of feelings about the concept of beauty and being beautiful, and whether that's something that should be valued, and like what true beauty is versus like cultural, like standards of beauty and all of that. So I know that is a loaded thing to say, but I think it's important for you right now to know that your truth is beauty, and that it is something that is beautiful and brilliant and shining about you, and that you should honor it rather than shy away from it. I think it's important for you to hear that right now. For whatever reason, I'm going into the intuition. Henri the Hurricane and the full moon is bringing me the intuition vibes. So you're getting slightly more intuitive vibes from me this week. I often am a little bit more of a sort of practical, psychological reader, but I'm definitely saying some things that I just feel like I need to tell you this week. I want you to know that your truth is deeply important and integral to who you are, and that by trying to cover it up or trying to be something that you feel that someone else wants you to be, whether it's like to maintain the status quo or a self-doubt thing or a they won't understand thing, every time you do that, you diminish your shine, you diminish your light, and you diminish the beautiful, beautiful impact you can have on the world. And I want to tell you that your truth is your path, and it's not wrong, and it's not something to hide, and it's not something that is only palatable for certain people. In fact, the very people that you worry that it may be unpalatable for may be the people who need to know your truth the most. They may surprise you, and you might actually find some kindred spirits, but more than that, our truth is not always there to be copacetic, right? When we speak our truth, when we live our truths, live as our authentic selves, which this is a silly example, but I'm sitting here reading tarot cards to y'all with friggin' fox ears on my head. That's my truth. What I mean by that is that's who I really want to be. I really want to be the person who is whimsically put fox ears on her head to read people tarot cards on the internet and try my best to bring some healing and some light and to help people move forward as their best selves. That's my truth. That's who I am in the most authentic way I can be. And that's one of the reasons that I'm so grateful for you every week coming out, everybody. Because you are affirming that my truth matters and that it's a real thing, and that we can have this special community and this special time. Anyway, the reason I say all that is because it's not just about speaking your truth, it's about living your truth. And if you feel that you can't authentically live your truth right now, I'm going to encourage you to try anyway. I'm going to encourage you to take small steps that make you feel like you, because it will be helpful to you, because it hurts to wear a mask. It hurts to be inauthentic. I recently heard on a podcast, I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing of it because it really stuck with me. And it was, secrets make us sick. That was the phrasing. Secrets make us sick. And when we are keeping something about ourselves secret, it makes us sick. It turns inward on ourselves in an unhealthy way. So I really encourage you to live your truth right now in a loud and honest way at this time, even if it feels scary and even if you're not sure how it will be received. And I want to let you know, if you're worried about it not being received well, that may be actually something that needs to happen. You may be facilitating a lesson for somebody. You may be modeling something for someone else who you don't even know, but who is aware of the situation and watching it unfold. And you may be helping them in their growth. So your truth is very important right now, and your truth is beautiful. That's all I'm going to say about that. Brittany, I'm going to pull a card for you at this time. You might notice that was the same card that came up for someone else, and I didn't read it the same way. That's where intuition comes in. The Queen of Swords is about truth, and is about facts. And intuition comes in with the individual interpretation for the individual person in the moment, So I'm definitely a hybrid sort of reader where I have devoted a lot of study to the tarot, but I also say what I feel needs to be said in the moment. That's who I am as a reader. All right. Brittany, here is your card. This will be my last card for the day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Brittany, you got another repeater card, and you see I've been shuffling and pulling from a random part of the deck. We have big Queen of Swords and big High Priestess energy this week in general, everyone. This is really interesting. I'll get to you in a moment, Brittany, your personal interpretation, but I just want to put it out there for anyone that there's a lot of push and pull this week between rational truth and our intuitive understanding of the truth, between our feelings and including our gut instincts, and between what appears to be the fact. I want to say appears to be between factual discourse, because I think we all know, and boy have we seen it playing out on the internet in the last few years, that anyone can twist the facts to support their point, and you may feel like, yeah, but they're doing it in a stupid way if you disagree with them. And certainly there are some people that I'm like, no, that's not facts, that's just your opinion and you're crazy. I don't usually say this to people's face, but I think we all see it on Facebook, and we have all had that thought. There's a lot of push and pull right now between intuition and between what is factually presented to us, or what is presented to us as fact. And I just want you to be aware of that pull right now. I just want you to know that's energy that's going to play with us this week. All right, now let's talk about you, Brittany. Let's talk about the High Priestess, and let's talk in particular about you coming into your power and what that looks like for you in order for you to be leading a more empowered life. When I say coming into your power, even that phrase can trigger some buttons for some people, in particular anyone who's ever been marginalized, because if you've been marginalized, you have probably been harmed by people with power, right? Or just been harmed by the very structure of power in our society. And so it makes us feel like power is an enemy, right? It makes us feel like being powerful would be a self-betrayal. And I'm here to tell you that's a really real and valid feeling, but also that is not true, right? That we can wield power. When we step into our power, we are helping everyone because we know that we don't have to wield power the way the status quo has. We don't immediately, by getting power, turn into a pawn of the capitalist patriarchy and white supremacy, right? We can choose, as we own our own personal power, how to wield it. And we can be mindful to wield it in a way that furthers our values rather than pulls us away from them. And I want to say this to you in particular because I think there might be a challenge for you around this, around your own power, as well as your sense of the status quo and how power has been used in ways that are very like not just, I want to say disconcerting, but the word I really want to say is like distasteful. Words like you have watched power be wielded in a way that puts a bad taste in your mouth. And the way through that is being presented to you right now is the High Priestess. And this is going to be challenging for you because it's about tuning into your intuition, tuning into your higher self, tuning into a deeper part of yourself. And there is probably a piece of you that's like, that's all stupid nonsense and garbage, and that would make me weak. Like, that's a little bit of the social narrative that perhaps you have absorbed over the years unwittingly, that you don't have time to tune into your inner high priestess right now because you have to live your real friggin' life. That's, that might be the story that is limiting you at this time. And I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and put some blind faith into this. And it's not purely blind faith, because blind faith is you're like, I don't know, I hope this works. It may feel blind to you though. Put some faith into the idea that if you tune into your intuition and your gut instincts, first of all, that they're not tainted. You may have this idea that you're tainted and that your intuition is not good like everyone else's is, that there's something wrong with yours in particular. That's not real. That's because you have been marginalized in your life, and because others have made you feel like the things that make you different are things that actually make you broken. And I'm here to tell you, you're not broken. So I want you to take a little bit of a leap of faith, taking yourself in hand and digging deeper to this higher, deeper, darker, wiser part of yourself, and acknowledging that this is part of you, because as you integrate this version of yourself into yourself, certainly some shadow work's involved here, that is how you begin to step into your personal power. Right now, there are pieces of yourself that are in conflict with each other. They're out of alignment with each other. And that, a house divided against itself can't stand, like that is why you're having a difficult time feeling empowered in your life. So, I'm not calling on you to do anything deep and crazy. I'm just calling on you to kind of allow yourself to sink into this energy of intuition. And if it feels easier to have some control over it, like maybe literally schedule some time on the calendar, like half an hour on Sunday. This is intuition time, where you sit and do whatever practice feels like it might help to you, whether it's like a journaling thing, whether it's a meditation thing or a divination thing, like whatever feels like it might help connect you with that, inner wise Brittany being. Because there's a lot to be gained from doing so. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the Witchy Weather Report. I love doing this every week. I thank you so much for being a part of my community. I want to remind you, this next Saturday, 1 week from today, I will not be doing the Witchy Weather Report because it will be my birthday. I am turning 37 on Saturday the 28th. It's such a random age. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I should embrace the randomness. I just feel like 37 is an age that you just make up for, like Bob the insurance agent. He's a 37-year-old guy. I'm not Bob the insurance agent, but maybe I can enjoy the randomness because I don't have any associations with 37. Except that it feels really arbitrary to me. So anyway, I won't be here next week. That means I will be back a week hence. So a fortnight. I will be back just before the new moon for you. So do whatever feels great next Saturday. Have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I will see you again 2 weeks hence, same bat time, same bat channel. I thank you as always for tuning in. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. Y'all are the sweetest. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this right now with me. This, like, my dreams, my truth can't happen without community because they are all about community. So I thank you for being a part of it. And I just wish you well. Say hello, say bonjour to Hurricane Henri. May we all get through this with grace and aplomb. Bye, friends.